Hey guys, this is Emma Johnson from wealthysinglemommy.com. And you know me, I help single moms live awesome lives. It's my blog, wealthysinglemommy.com. Check out my book, KickAss Single Mom, #1 international bestseller. I'm laughing today, but I'm a little bit crying inside, a lot actually. My good friend Carmela Coleman passed away a couple days ago. And I'd known her for a long time. And she's a really special person. She's an artist, and she laughs so much, and she's really generous, and she just was really devoted to living a really full and happy life. Sensibly, we maybe didn't have a lot in common. She's a good 10, 15 years older than I am. She's married. I'm not. She doesn't have kids. I do. But we always connected as, I think, thoughtful people. And I was just always really inspired by her joyful life. And in fact, I'm going to visitation for her right after I record this. You might notice my pretty colorful, it's a dress. And Carmela's art was very colorful, and her homes were very colorful. And I just thought that she would love this. And as these things happen, when you care about passes, you think about meaning of life and what's important. And it got me thinking about my grant program, the KickAss Single Mom Grant, where every month I give away $1,000 to a single mom who's doing something really awesome in the world. And I've had thousands of really incredible women apply. But I make it very clear in the application process. This is for somebody that is doing something really amazing. Maybe it's a big regional or national initiative, but more likely it's something smaller in your community. And I think that is very important because it's inspiring others around you. But despite these very clear qualifications for this program, I get so many requests for women that want me to give my money. This is my money that I'm giving away. They want me to give it to them so they can go on vacation or go to Disney World. And they'll tell me things like, well, I've never been to Disney World and I think my kids deserve to go. And this whole Disney thing is really incredible to me. It seems like it's been assumed to be just a rite of passage in America that children go to Disney World and or go on a Disney cruise. And my kids are never going. I mean, somebody else wants to take my kids. That's fine. I don't have a problem with Disney World per se. I personally do not want to go. And P.S., it is freaking expensive. I don't know that you can get in and out of there for under $5,000. And unless you stay with your relatives in Orlando and can drive there or something. I don't even know if that's possible. It is so unbelievably expensive. But hand it to Disney, they have done a marketing number on you that has convinced you that this is something that you must do. And I know that the average American household's like $50,000 a year. And we know that the average American is something like $15,000 or $16,000 in credit card debt, not to mention over leveraged on their house, their car, student debt. So what is going on? Why does everybody think that they have to go to Disney? Well, what I see women doing all day long is saying, well, I'm spending money that I don't have, or I'm spending money that I can afford to give my kids memories. I'm spending on things I can't afford to give my kids memories. Well, let's unpack that a little bit. Because spending money on something big and glamorous like a trip to Disney does not equal memories, or it doesn't equal good memories. Let's put aside all my judgment about how that's setting a really bad example for your kids in terms of money management. But it's telling your kids that if you do X, you will be happy. If you do Y, that is guaranteed good time spent. And I don't think that's necessarily true. And in fact, I think about my own childhood and my own life. And the moments and the rituals that I have good memories from. I've got lots of memories, but the ones that are the most meaningful, the ones that give me the most comfort, the ones that really shaped me in a positive way, they were things that were free. They were either spontaneous moments, maybe of connection, of intimacy with somebody that I cared for. Maybe they were just rituals that gave meaning and rhythm and security to my life. But they weren't things that cost a ton of money, I'll tell you that. I mean, I think of what growing up, some of the things from my household with my mom, single mom. She's a really good cook. And every morning she would make my brothers and me a hot breakfast. And I just have such nice memories of waking up in the cold months in Illinois, where I'm from, in my small town. We had this very small rental house, but there was always something really good cooking from the kitchen. And my mom, it's not that she spent millions of dollars on food. She was very frugal, but she could cook really nutritious, healthy, tasty, cozy food. And it made me feel really cared for. And it was a ritual, and there was rhythm, and I could depend on that. And that was her way of showing love. That was not an expensive, glamorous thing. I have nice memories of learning how to sew with my grandma, who lived nearby. She was a farm wife and a teacher, and she loved to sew. She's a quilter, and she made many of her own clothes, and we would make clothes for me. We'd go to Joann Fabrics and pick out patterns and material, and we would sew clothes. And that was the way my grandma connected with me and made me feel very cared for. And not only did it not cost money, it saved money, because usually the inspiration for these projects was that I wanted a piece of clothing that we couldn't afford, so we were going to sew it. But the residual of that was that I learned something new, something that, you know, I don't really practice sewing now, but it was a skill, life skill, and it connected me to somebody that loved me very much. And I could go on. And I think about these things that I'm doing with my children. What are they going to remember? Next week, spring break, I'm taking my kids to Vietnam. And I think I can do this whole trip for 10 days, fly around the world. My goal is to do it for less than $2,000. Now, I got a really good deal on airline tickets, but even if I spend $3,000, I'm taking them for 10 days and having, I hope it's a mind-blowing experience. I hope I change their lives. I hope that they remember this for the rest of their lives for $2,000, $3,000. But you know what? I can't control that. And you can't control what your kids are going to remember either. So what is the answer? Is the answer just to be super cheap and frugal? Is the answer never to take your kids to these commercial things like theme parks and big expensive resorts? No, I think if you really want to do those things and you really can afford them, and look, moms, if you love doing it yourself, I would die 1,000 deaths if I had to stand online at Disney in the hot sun. I would just be miserable, grumpy mom. So I'm not doing that. But if you love Disney, you know, we probably aren't going to be friends, and that's fine. You love Disney and you can afford, go. I'm not saying anything bad about that experience, but I'm saying if we want to be giving our children good experiences, investing in good experiences, focus on rituals. Rituals are so important, and there's something often very overlooked in our culture. Every culture and every society since the dawn of humanity has had ritual. And that can be anything. You can make this up out of thin air. I know that, for example, at my house, bedtime ritual is very important and has grown and evolved. And I was thinking about that recently because we recently made a change. We always read. Like when the kids were little, we'd have storybooks with the pictures, and then they would start to read the storybooks to me. And for the last few years, we've had chapter books. And we read things that I enjoy reading too. And right now we're reading some books about refugee families because this is a political issue that's important to me. But they're young adult reader books. When we were little, my kids were babies, I could have both of them in my glider like this, and I would read the book. Like we would all be cozy in this glider, and they got too big for that. So we moved and we sat on the couch. And then we decided we'd sit in my bed. We would read in my queen size bed, which, by the way, that's my queen size bed right there. But lately, they've gotten too big for that, and they're bickering about the pillows and the blankets, and it's super annoying. So we moved back out to the living room. And they've started a new ritual over the last couple of weeks where we have an adult coloring book that my friend gave me and I never really used. And they have this nice set of markers that my boyfriend gave them. And they like to do with the adult coloring. And they said it's really soothing and relaxing while I read to them. And I don't know, maybe they'll forget that totally, or maybe that will become one of the coziest memories, but it's literally costing us nothing. And it's something that I love doing, that I am giving my children from my heart.